My very first talk was at Creative Mornings Berlin. I was new to the city. I barely spoke German. I didn't know anyone, and I had no idea how to get in front of people. But I had an idea. I designed a postcard. It said 3-4-13 with this little lettering piece made by me. And down below, you could write your own 3 wishes for the new year. So in one of them, I wrote my own. Travel the world, be happy, and speak at Creative Mornings Berlin. I mailed that postcard to the organizer, and a few weeks later, I got an email saying, "We would love to have you speak." That talk completely changed my life and career. It opened doors I didn't even know existed. Today, I want to share with you how to land your first speaking gig, even if you're just getting started, and why being on stage can become one of the most powerful accelerators for your creative career. And why should you listen to me? Because over the past 15 years, I've spoken at dozens of design conferences around the world, including Adobe Max and TDX. And at this point, I'm paid anywhere between $1,500 and $5,000 or more per talk. Being invited to speak has helped me build a following, expand the reach of my work, attract clients, and position myself as a leader in my field. But none of that happened overnight. I had to build it piece by piece by actively seeking out opportunities, by putting myself out there before I felt ready, and by preparing behind the scenes so that when the opportunities came, I was ready to deliver. So in this episode, we will talk about how speaking builds credibility and visibility for your creative career. I will tell you how I got my first talk and how that one opportunity snowballed into many. We're going to talk about how to find and pitch speaking gigs, even if you don't have a network yet. And for when the moment comes, I'm going to tell you how to prepare, perform, and turn one talk into a long-term growth strategy. Here's the truth. Being good at what you do isn't always enough. You can be the best designer, illustrator, or lettering artist, but if nobody knows who you are, if nobody sees your work, opportunities will be slow to come. One of my favorite authors and entrepreneurs, Daniel Priestley, calls this the 7-11-4 rule. He says that it takes about 7 hours of contact, 11 touch points, and exposure across 4 different mediums for someone to go from stranger to trusting you enough to work with you or buy from you. And public speaking compresses all of that into one moment. When you stand on stage, you get an hour of people's full attention. That's your 7 hours condensed. You're also showing up in a new medium. That's your YouTube, podcast, and your blog in one. And you're creating multiple touch points at once. People see you, they hear you, they take photos, they tag you online, they share your name. Speaking fast tracks trust. It gives people a reason to see you as an authority. And you're literally standing above them because mostly you will be standing on a stage. And this is really important for creatives because, let's be honest, most of us struggle to talk about our work. We prefer to let the work speak for itself, but the truth is that the work alone can't introduce you to new clients and new audiences. Being on stage does that for you. It's a positioning amplifier. It says, here's someone who knows what they're talking about. Here's someone I can trust. And that trust is what leads to the next opportunity and the next one and the next one. Now, let me tell you the full story of how I got that first talk. When I moved to Berlin, I had just left my job. I was trying to figure out how to build a business as a lettering designer. I didn't know anybody in the creative scene. So I started by doing what I could do, which is showing my work online, connecting with other artists, and looking for ways to meet people offline. But of course, meeting with other artists would not get me jobs, would just give me a community. So one day I discovered Creative Mornings, which is this global series of free talks for creatives. There were casual meetings where people will watch a talk while they were sipping their coffee. And I thought, I want to be out there. I think I can do it because it's a casual setting and I feel that it won't feel overwhelming for me. But again, I didn't know anybody. I didn't know the organizers of Creative Mornings. So I decided to get creative. I designed this postcard. I remember printing it, signing it, and sending it with a short note in the back saying, "Hi, I'm Martina. I'm a lettering artist. I just moved to Berlin. I'd love to speak at Creative Mornings someday." And then I forgot about it. And a few weeks later, I got the email. They said, "We love your postcard. Let's do it." We got together. I pitched them a few ideas for my talk, and I got the gig. That's how I got my first speaking opportunity. After that, I spent weeks preparing that talk. I wrote and rewrote the script. I redefined the slides. I practiced transitions and rehearsed it in so many different ways that I could almost do it without notes. And when the day came, I was nervous, of course. But as soon as I started, the energy of the room shifted. People really leaned in. They smiled, they laughed, they nodded along. They wanted me to do good. And that's something you should know, that normally when you are on stage, people want you to deliver a good talk. And they are there for you. They are there with you. Therefore, they want you to do good, because if you do good, they are having fun. They are learning. They are being entertained. And after the talk, something really great happened. People started coming up to me. They introduced themselves. They gave me their business card. They started following my work. And even some of them asked me to collaborate. So it wasn't just the talk. It was that perception shift that really happened when I delivered my first talk. The moment you are on stage, people see you differently. They see you as a leader, as someone who is doing something, not just talking about it. Now, here's the part that most people don't realize. After I had one talk under my belt, I could put that on my website. I added a small section that said speaking engagements. And just that line changed how people perceived me when they visited my website. Can you already see the positive impact that having your first speaking gig can have in your career? But it didn't stop there. The organizer of Creative Mornings, after seeing how I performed, recommended me to other conference organizers. And here's something worth noting. Conference organizers are all connected. They know each other, they share notes, and they're constantly looking for good speakers. When they find someone who can deliver a great talk, they talk about it. So after Creative Mornings, I was invited to another conference later that year in Berlin. And then at that event, another organizer, this time from Switzerland, saw me speaking and booked me for their conference the following year. That's how it grows. One talk leads to another. You never know who is sitting in the audience. And then came even bigger moments. After a talk I gave at Apple Store, a publisher approached me right after I stepped off the stage and said, "We would love to work with you." And that led to one of my dream projects, a collection of 30 letterpress postcards, a project that paid 5 figures and helped me reach a completely new audience in the German market. Another one, later in my career, when I spoke at Adobe Max, which is the biggest design conference in the world, there were about 500 people in the room. But later that talk was published online on Adobe's YouTube channel, and it now has over 200,000 views. One talk can reach the people in front of you, but also thousands, sometimes hundreds of thousands more who watch later. That's a ripple effect of speaking. It grows your audience, your credibility, your opportunities, and also your confidence, because you are seen as a leader, and that's an amazing feeling. By the way, speaking of stages, I'm going on tour soon in the United States. I will be giving talks and hosting meetups in New York and Los Angeles, and I love for you to join. So if you're nearby, come meet me in person and let's connect. You will find all the links to these events down below. Check them out. Have into account that seats are limited, and it's always a great experience to meet creative minds face to face. All right, let's talk about how you can get started. The first thing is simple but crucial. Actively look for opportunities. Many creative conferences, festivals, and community events have open calls for speakers. Creative Mornings is one of them. They're often on the event's website or posted on social media. Apply to those, even if you think you're not ready. Also, if you want to speak at conferences, be at conferences. Attend them, meet people, ask questions, introduce yourself. Most of my yearly speaking invitations came from people I met at events, not because I had a big following, but because I showed up and I connected with those people. The next thing you want to do is to pitch yourself clearly. When you reach out to organizers, don't just say, "I would love to speak at your conference." Tell them exactly what you can bring to their audience. Give your talk a title. Write a short description with 3 key takeaways. Make it easy for them to say yes. Organizers are constantly scouting speakers, but they are busy. They appreciate clarity and professionalism. I will paste for you a speaker pitch email template right in the comments of this episode so you can adapt it for your own outreach. And remember that this isn't about bragging. It's about being clear. You are helping them do their job. Another thing you want to do, show it on your website. Once you have given a talk, or even if you haven't yet, add a section on your website that says speaking. Include a few talk ideas or topics you're passionate about. Even if you're just studying, that one line signals to the world that you're open for this type of work. People make assumptions based on what they see. If it it's on your website, they will assume you do it, and that can easily lead to your first inquiry. Gather testimonials and proof. After each talk, ask for feedback. It could be as simple as, "Would you mind writing a few lines about how you found my talk?" Then use those testimonials everywhere on your website, in your email pitches, on social media. When organizers see you have spoken before and have great feedback, it reduces their risk. You immediately look as a safe and professional choice. Prepare like a pro. When your first opportunity comes, prepare. You know they say luck benefits the prepared? Well, that happens especially when it comes to speaking. Work on your slides, rehearse your timing, record yourself, watch your body language. You don't need to memorize every word, although I think it's a good idea, but you should know your structure by heart. When you do, you can focus on delivery and performance, on making it engaging, human, and authentic. Great speakers don't just deliver the talk, they really perform on stage. They look at you in the eyes, they move their arms in a way that engages people in. They use stories, visual, rhythm, and emotion to keep people with them. And this is what you want to do when you deliver your first talk. Refine, don't reinvent. Here's another big mistake I see creatives make. They create a new talk from scratch every single time. Don't do that. That's a ton of work, and you are missing on the opportunity of getting better every time. Instead, create one talk, refine it, and evolve it. My main talk that I deliver at design conferences has existed for over 10 years. Each time I give it, I tweak a few things, a better story here, a stronger visual there, a tighter phrase somewhere else. That talk keeps improving, and the audience is rarely the same, and every new audience makes it fresh again. And even people who have heard it multiple times often come up to me and say, "Hey, I heard your talk a few years ago and I still learned something new today." That's the sign of a well-built talk. It grows with you. Here's something I want you to remember. You don't have to wait to be discovered. You can create your own opportunities to speak. Start with the small events, a local design meetup, a creative community, your university, a co-working space. Offer to do a 20-minute talk or a short workshop. Each time you do it, you're not just practicing public speaking, you are building your authority and your confidence. Every stage, big or small, teaches you something. How to connect with an audience, how to structure a message, how to tell stories that really move people and stay in people's minds. Speaking really helps you compress all that trust building into one experience. It's a visibility engine. It creates connection, credibility, and opportunity all at once. So I hope that by now you're convinced of how impactful speaking can be for your career and you're ready to give it a shot. So let's wrap this up. Here's what I want you to take away. Number one, speaking is one of the most powerful ways to build authority and visibility in your field. Number two, don't wait for invitations. Pitch yourself. The first yes changes everything. Number three, prepare deeply. The better you perform, the more stages you will be invited to. Number four, refine your talk over time and let each stage open the next one. That first Creative Mornings talk that I once offered, it started with a postcard, a wish, and a bit of courage. And it led me to some of the biggest stages in the world. And if you're thinking about it, this is your sign to start. Look for a call for speakers. Reach out to an organizer. Send that first email. You never know who is in the audience waiting to hear from you. And remember, I will paste that speaker pitch email template right below this episode so that you can copy it and start today. If this conversation inspired you, share it with a creative friend who is ready to step on stage. And if you're joining one of my upcoming talks in New York or Los Angeles, I would love to meet you in person. Don't forget to subscribe, like, and I will see you on stage.